Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whichever part of world you are joining this meeting from. Welcome to another exciting meeting at Interpersonal Toastmasters. It's all about you and your learning. DTM. My wife says DTM stands for Dust Toastmaster. Dust in Hindi, or rather the language of India, stands for Wicked Toastmasters. I don't know where she gets it from. Then she has other demeaning words too for DTM. I will do that in maybe next session. In a club when I joined, some in China, they said DTM stands for Distinguished Talking Machine. And most of the DTMs, I watch them giving speeches. They don't want people to time them. They don't want to stop. And many people that's why say DTM means don't time me. What's your definition for DTM? Somebody wants to unmute and then give a definition. Go ahead, Diana, you can give in the chat. Anybody who wants to give a definition for DTM? No problem. Maybe something that you will weave up while we go through the session. Like any other meeting, we are going to have prepared speeches, table topics, and fun part is all about evaluation. Let's start with our first session, which is going to be introducing our role players who are going to help us conduct the meeting. Let me invite the grammarian of the day, Toastmaster Jim, to give the word of the day and also introduce his role as a grammarian. Toastmaster Jim.
Thank you very much, Mr. Toastmaster. Welcome everyone tonight for this meeting. As the grammarian, I will be listening for grammatical usage, any errors that I hear, and I'll also be looking for the use of filler words, things like you know, or the word so in certain in certain places. And I will also be giving the word of the day for the evening. Thank you. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Jim. Toastmaster PhD, you want to quickly introduce your role and just show timer cards, maybe as quick as possible. Piyush.
Sure. Thank you, Toastmaster Raghu. Greetings, fellow Toastmasters and guests. My name is Piyush Kaushal, and I'm your timer for the day. I'll be timing your speeches, including the prepared speech, the educational session that Raghu will conduct, the table topics, and speech evaluations. For today's speech, the duration is 8 to 10 minutes. For Raghu's education session is 8 to 12 minutes. And for table topics, it's going to be 1 to 2 minutes, and evaluation is 2 to 3 minutes. There is 30 seconds of grace period before the minimum time and after the maximum time. I'll be changing my background once you hit your minimum time to green. And after 30 seconds to 1 minute, depending on the whether it's table topic or the prepared speech, I'll change it to yellow. And after another 30 seconds or a minute, I'll change it to red. This is my role for today. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Piyush. Before we start, let me acknowledge all the guests in the room, Toastmaster Diana and Toastmaster Bharat, who are our frequent guests. Then we have Catherine, who is joining us from Malaysia. Then Yunati, I'm not sure, she's joining from Singapore. And then we have Anne-Marie, who is joining from the beautiful Caribbean islands. Aneta, do you want to quickly introduce yourself and tell us where you are joining from? Aneta? No problem.
Good evening. Hello, this is Aneta Work Sally. I'm with District 8 Continental Communicators here in the beautiful St. Louis, Missouri Metro East area, United States. And I'm so glad to be here this evening. Thank you.
Wow, great to know that. I once lived in St. Louis, and it's a wonderful place to live in. Toastmaster Jim, who is of grammarian, is a frequent guest. He's almost a member, so I won't take much time to introduce. DTM, the one and only, the highest award that you can receive in Toastmasters, and also considered the holy grail of our Toastmasters. So what is in it? How do you achieve it? Let's try to understand more about it. Let me share my screen. For some reason it doesn't. So there are different steps that you can achieve. Okay, good. I see it now. Now, when you have to do, so first thing is become a member, and then you work on your pathways. You must complete at least 2 pathways for your journey as a DTM. You see the completed pathway, and then the next step, or rather one of the steps you want to say, because there is no necessity to follow in sequential manner for your DTM. It is just that you can work parallelly on all of this. Next requirement is club sponsor, a speech craft, or youth leadership program. Now, coming to club sponsor, when you start a new club, there are 2 different sections to starting a new club. I'm not going to talk about other things that is required at a district level or thing, but just at the club level. When you are chartering, there are 2 different sections. One before club chartering, and other is after the club is chartered. Now, any district doesn't want a club just to fall off the board. Just let the club to figure out what needs to be done when the club is being chartered. So the first section is club chartering. This person or this a group of 2 people, 2 club sponsors are allowed for a club. Now, these people help the club charter till the chartering is complete and the club is on the dashboard of the district. Rather, if it's undistrict club, even on the dashboard, the TI dashboard, until it is there, they assist the club till there. And their role ends once the club is on the TI dashboard. What do they do? It can be anything. Sometimes these might be high income individuals who help club chartering. They pay the charter dues, which is usually $125 plus the state tax if it's from United States. For example, when we chartered Universal Entrepreneur Toastmasters in District 101, they charged us California tax, which was about more than $125 was a fee, and it came to about $13 to $14 extra, which we had to pay. So it depends upon the state or where you're charting this club. They help in the documentation, if not the fee. They help in the demo meetings. What is a demo meeting? Is in the beginning, when you want to showcase that you're chartering a club, you try to do demo meetings to show what this club has to offer uniquely from other clubs. Why should you join this club? So these are few things that they do in the demo meeting, showcasing what is going to be a full-fledged meeting after the club is chartered. So the club sponsor will assist in those meets. They will help in the documentation that needs to be submitted to TI, which will be the member details and etc., all that is required for the club chartering. Once the club is chartered, the district doesn't want it to fall off the dashboard just immediately within 6 months. So they keep a guide who will help the club to go through all the things and then finish their things in time, whatever is required to club to sustain. So this guide or mentor, the club mentor is the official name that's given to this role. They will help the club to sustain all those 6 months period because it's a difficult period. And if it is just through the renewal period, and not, you may not even know that the club didn't get through that time. I've seen many clubs which just fallen the dashboard within 5 to 6 months after chartering. So the club mentor has to be a strong person who knows in and out of Toastmasters. Now, the next thing that you need to have credit is club mentor or club coach. Now, I'll discuss more about club coach, but club mentor, we already know. Club coach needs to be little more in detail because that is going to change a lot coming to our next year. Now, club officer for 12 months. Some clubs have annual term, which is 12 months. Some have semi-annual term, which is every 6 months they elect their club officers, just like our club Interpersonal Toastmasters. Now, what will go into this? You can either be a club officer for 12 months, or it can be 2 6 months period. And 2 6 months period need not to be just immediately one after another. It can also be that you have parallelly been an officer in 2 different clubs same time. For example, I serve in 2 different clubs parallelly for my second DTM, and that helped me to achieve my DTM just in 9 months. The next is our district officer. We'll go in detail about district officer, what all it is. But now we'll just understand what's the next step. Next step, when you have done all this, that is required for DTM is completing your DTM capstone project. Just like the high performance leadership project that we used to have in traditional material, or rather that's the study program that we followed in Toastmasters, or any high performance leadership project that you see in your Pathways to, it is in line with that. The beauty of this DTM project is that you can design your own program. There is no limitations to it, what you can do or cannot do as part of this program. Only thing that is you follow the ethical framework, you follow the ethics of Toastmasters in it, you lead at least 2 or more than that team members, and you have 2 people as your guidance committee who will guide you through the project. It's all that you where you showcase your leadership abilities, leading, where you have a plan in hand and how you execute it to get the results. End of day, it's not that just getting results, it's about how you get the results. Same time should make the people feel good, and that's what is you're going to learn in the 360 degrees feedback that you achieve at the end of the project. And then you apply for this holy grail. I'm going to show you DTM application form if we have time, and then walk through that. How do you fill that? For now, let's understand what is a district officer. Now we know club officer, but above that, the club, we have area, division, and district. We'll not go beyond that for now. But beyond that, it is more like a region, and then regions we have the world headquarters Toastmaster International. Now above the club at the district level, we have area director, division director, and then district director, who is assisted by 2 other roles, CGD, club growth director, and then PQD, program quality director. These are mostly elected roles, but except area director, which sometimes is a appointed role, sometimes it's an elected role. We also have 3 roles which are credit roles: district administrative manager, district finance manager, district PR manager. So these 3 roles are either appointed or elected, depends upon the district culture, because these are mostly by the district bylaws and not governed by Toastmaster International completely. This is up to the district. What I've seen as a best part is most of the districts, they do appoint them by the interview process. What are non-credit roles? Non-credit roles, it can be logistic manager, your webmaster, your international not international, it's immediate past district director and other roles, which are non-credit roles. They do not get credit for what they are doing. It can be even a club co-chair who assists in the people who are trying to charter a club, or it can be the club mentor chair who takes care of interviewing people and see if they are okay to do the mentor. Club co-chair, who it can be that they assist people in doing the, or rather selecting club coaches, seeing if they are eligible or not. These people might have the right to vote in the district election, but not, they do not get any credit for these roles in towards your DTM. Now, you must have, you have talked about club sponsors and mentor. There's a report in Toastmaster International where you can see where the sponsor or mentor which are awarded or pending. Now, it is not just that you help the club in charter, you mentor the club and that is done there. No, the club president or any officer at that point of time who you help with, who was there in the club, like they were the club charter excom officers. One of them must email to Toastmaster International, which is new clubs at toastmasters.org, asking them to give the credit to you by stating your name and your Toastmaster International membership number, saying that you have given all the support that is needed for chartering or mentoring. I've seen many a times these awards go unclaimed because people don't know that the club has to send an email, and you never know when, if the club is off the dashboard, you never even get the credit. So you must ensure that you're doing within the time period, which is 6 months is the usual appointment time for the club mentor. But some district may say that you have to serve for certain number of time, maybe 9 months or 12 months, because 101 suggested that I mentored Universal Entrepreneur Toastmaster at least for 9 months to get the credit. So it depends upon the district there. Now, club coaches, they get appointed. And there are certain things that are coming changes in 2022-23. Till now, there was no criteria that was given for club coach appointment by Toastmaster International, but certain districts followed this their own criteria to ensure that there's quality in club coach appointment. And club coach was asked to submit a report every month to be seen by the trio of the district. And they need to go to the club, and then they need to see how the meetings are going, and then they try to help the club. One thing here is that club coach appointment doesn't happen without the consent of the president of the club. The president of the club must seek a club coach. They need to send an email to the district, especially the club growth director and club coach chair, asking for a club coach to help the club to do well. Now, when the president has a right to seek, he or she also the right to de-appoint a club coach. They can send an email directly to Toastmaster International and the district for removal of the club coach at any point of time if they feel uncomfortable working with them. Now, coming to club coach changes are coming from next year is that any club coach who is going to any member who is eligible to go for a club coach, first criteria is they should be an active member continuously for 1 year. Continuously for 1 year. Next thing is they must have achieved at least level 2 and in pathways or ACB or ALB from traditional education program. and they must have served for 2 consecutive period of 6 months or 1 year as a club officer, and they should complete club coach training. This is something that was not in place, and I'm not sure what is coming up in this. So we must wait and watch what's coming. Something maybe like what we have, district officer training program. And then the club that is going to seek till now is that they must have at least 1 member and below 13 members to seek a club coach. But now the new criteria is that the club should have between 3 to 12 members. And what you cannot be as a club coach is that you cannot join the club starting July 1st, which is within few hours from now. And then you cannot take any officer role. Of course, you cannot join the club, so not any other officer role. And then second thing is you cannot coach any other club. It is okay to assign you as coach for multiple clubs till now, but it's not going to happen from next year. But there are conditions when and you can get a credit towards your DTM. First, for credit just for the club coach, you must serve as for 6 months as a club coach. You must submit reports to world headquarters and district every 1 month, or rather 30 days. And the club president and district director must confirm in writing Toastmasters International that you gave all the support that is needed for the club to get distinguished. And the last thing is you must help the club at least get 5 DCP point with the distinguished status, which meets the membership criteria too. Now, last few years, what helped few members to get the district officer credit in a short period of time was something the club coach offered, a dual credit, which was a district officer credit apart from club coach credit. It started initially to help the people completing the traditional educational program, assist them to complete their DTM faster, but then it continued because seeing the status of how the clubs were doing during the pandemic. So once you complete this club coach program, you got the dual credit. But last year, Toastmasters International updated saying that, okay, you do the club coach and get the club coach distinguished, then you get only club coach credit. But if you want a dual credit, we will continue the program, which is happening for last 3 years, saying that you must serve as a club coach for at least 6 months. And second thing is you must help the club to get 20 members. So now for club coach itself, the 6 months period is set. Now to get the dual credit, which is district officer, also you don't need to serve the district as a district officer. So you serve the coach for 6 months and also help achieve the club distinguished status. And then the last condition for dual credit is 20 members. The club should have 20 members by the end of June 30, which is end of the year. So this is what is the change that you see in club coach. And you say, what is in it for me? What is in it for me? Whatever people may call you, whether it is a distinguished talking machine, don't tie me, blah, 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 blah. But then the confidence that you grow while you are upgrading yourself through this program. You complete 2 pathways where you develop all the competency to speak in public speaking and evaluations and other programs. Then you grow yourself when you complete 2 pathways. There's almost about 30 to 40 speeches minimum. And once you do 2 pathways, then you go to into other roles, club officer. While you serve as a club officer for this period, you learn how to work as an individual contributor or maybe as a leader within different teams. And this also going to continue when you work with your colleagues at office, or maybe when you work with your clients, or maybe when you have set up your own business and you're leading that. It all depends how you're going to use this, what you're learning in your real life. The next step, when you're going as a club coach, or maybe as an area director, as a club coach, you're going to be just like a team lead who is going to lead a team where you don't have an influence, or maybe as a project manager where you don't have much influence, but you're trying to work with them to achieve a common goal. Then as you're working towards chartering a club, you're building your networking skills and leveraging the two for a common goal again. The more you work in such programs, the better network that you develop. And trust me, this is going to transform you once you charter a club. You see a lot, many things in there. And then as an area director or any other district role, you're going to learn how to work with multiple teams. When you go to your senior leadership role, maybe as an VP or SVP, you have to work with multiple teams. And then when you work with multiple teams, it's not that easy to work with leaders there, because as a district officer, you're going to help these clubs officers to do their job, but you're not going to into their business. So that's how you are going to learn leading. End of the day, the goal is one: to become a better leader, to become a better speaker, and to become a better person by being empathetic to when you evaluate people. What's in DTM for you? Not just that plaque that you receive, not just that medallion that you receive, not just that certificate that you receive. It's all about your learnings in the journey of becoming a distinguished Toastmasters. And I stop and I want to check, Piyush, do I really have time, or you forgot to show the timer cards?
Yeah, it's almost 8 minutes now.
Thank you. I'm doing good job right then. So anybody has a question, please go ahead. We have 4 minutes. Tiana, you can type your question. Anybody who has a question?
Yes, I have a question.
Anne Marie,
Yes.
go ahead. Your voice is low. Do you want to adjust your mic?
As I said, I'm in transit. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
No,
Okay. All right.
muffled voice.
Okay. As I said, I'm in transit, so it's a little difficult. I'll have to type it.
No problem. You go ahead and I'll try to understand what you're saying.
Yes. Can you hear me? You've outlined many options for DTM. Each of them comes with their own challenges, I guess. What would you consider? What would you suggest you consider to finding the correct path for you? You didn't mention the youth leadership, but what things do you think of when deciding which is best suited for you? Any tips?
Thank you, Anne-Marie. Yeah, thanks for reminding that. As soon as you started question, I got reminded that I didn't talk about the Speechcraft and YLP, Youth Leadership Program. The Speechcraft is right now on digital basis, and which is in line with Pathways, which was not there till last year, January. So you go for a digital Speechcraft, a digital youth leadership program, where people get access to the material online. Once you do that, it's $50 for 5 people, and these 5 people are going to get access to this digital material. Now, when they do get that, you need to do a program at least for 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 weeks program. So that's a minimum requirement. Is to 4 weeks is a minimum requirement, where you help them through these sessions. So once these sessions are done, then you can just close the program and then take the credit for it. and you don't need to do anything to get the credit. You just need to fill your DTM application form about that. Now coming back to which path I take as a DTM, it's your choice. It's your journey as a DTM, or rather as a Toastmaster to become a DTM, distinguished Toastmaster. So there is no such requirement. It's all up to you, which you think easy or which you think that you will be exploring, get a chance to explore. It's all up to you. Sometimes some districts don't give opportunities. It all depends on the politics in the district, where you may not get a chance to be a club sponsor or club mentor. So just go ahead and do your speech craft. Nobody's going to stop you, and you get your credit towards that club sponsor or YLP. Right now that what you are doing, Anne-Marie, that you will get credit towards your DTM, which is good. I think it's one of wonderful program when you do YLP, interacting with those young men and rather children who are at the age between 10 to 17, and then see how we can teach them public speaking skills. Rather, most of the time it is them who teach us, but then there's a wonderful program. I hope that answers your question, Anne-Marie.
Yeah, I guess the answer is it depends on your personality, which one you're best suited to. That's it.
Right. Yeah. Bharat.
Yes, good morning once again. Thank you so much for this lovely session. I am a Toastmaster of less than 3 years. I will complete 3 years on 31st July this year. And I got my DTM around 3 months back. So I'm planning my DTM too. And thank you so much for some lovely things you said here. I was mainly want to reconfirm about the district officer role. So you said if I am a club coach with 20 members target by 30th June, I can get the waiver for a district officer, correct?
Right. As a club coach.
So
if you're already a club coach, you're appointed
yes,
this year, there's
yeah,
nothing changing it apart from that you need to be a coach for 6 months and then get the distinguished status. But if you're joining July 1st, there's so many requirements that you need to get screened, you'll get interviewed, you go through that training process, and then you get appointed. And it is that by this approval of district director and the club executive committee that you get appointed. You're not going to appoint it without that.
okay, but that has to be in the same district or can be outside our district?
Anywhere. But as I said, you need to go through that process.
Okay. Thank you so much. That is, but again, if you get to the distinguished status, the club which is you are coach for, and you go on to get the 20 members for that, so there would be a district officer requirement would be waived out.
Right. Yeah. Diana, as I said, you need to complete 2 pathways, and then you need to go through all the criteria to get the distinguished Toastmasters. Maybe we will discuss more over email, and then I can give you more details on the email. Now, coming to what is in the district, the DTM project, as I told, you're asked to design your own project. You have this, and then you get your own team, set your goals. It's all about leading this team. What is your plan, whether it is communication plan or the plan to achieve goals, and the end, the goals. But how do you achieve it? Ethics? What are your ethics? And are you leading people with empathy? What do people feel about you? That's where the 360 degrees feedback comes. People have to give you 360 degrees feedback saying what they felt about you. For example, when I led the Spacecraft program, I got one feedback apart from everything was that people felt that I was intimidated, rather that my style of communication was little bit direct at times, and they wanted me to change. And I'm going to work on that to see how I can improve as a leader. So this is what you get there, all the feedback that helps you to grow as a leader. I hope this answered all your questions so far. Now, example for Distinguished Toastmaster project is what you're going to see in the speech today. Before I call the speaker Toastmaster Kalpana, let me call our wonderful lady in the row, DTM Susan, who is evaluator, to give the speech objectives for Kalpana.
Yes, Kalpana will be presenting her second speech in the DTM project. She will be telling us about some aspect or her experience in completing the project. And her time is 8 to 10 minutes for the timer. And her topic is title. She has YLP, I'm not sure, Youth Leadership Program. And it is Sanskriti.
Sanskriti, right?
Sanskriti. So please help me welcome Kalpana.
Check, am I audible? Last year in 2021, I was trying to teach my niece my mother tongue, that is Telugu. In that process, he asked me, okay, now the question would be like, why I am teaching Telugu or my mother tongue to my niece. He stays in United States since he was born. So he is not aware of our culture or nor our language. I started this small attempt because I was having online classes and I understood that it is easy for teaching kids. And I took this to ensure that our culture, that is Sanskriti, will be passed on from ourselves to the next generation. In this process, small attempt of teaching Telugu was what I have opted. While learning this language, my niece asked me a question. Atta, which means auntie, we have God writing our fate. Even then, we are said that we are responsible for our acts, which is called as karma. Why is it like that? When God is writing, why is he writing and why is he punishing? I felt that that was a very valid question. And the answer simple to that is God had written for me to give a DTM speech, but he had not written how I will act in that so that I will give something back to the next generation. That is how we have to ensure that we are building for our next generation. In that process, I started to teach dance, and along with that, I started to ensure that my dance students were learning everything that is needed to build our culture and take it to the next generation. In this process, I was successful to an extent, but I still felt that I was only able to influence my children, my relatives, or my students. I wanted to do beyond this. That is when my mentor told me that as part of DTM, I can take up a project wherein I can do something of my own. I can build a program and I can do this, whatever I have to plan, so that I can pass whatever my knowledge is there to the other persons. I felt that was a very wonderful opportunity and I requested him to be my guide. Distinguished Toastmaster Raghu agreed and we got a project plan, and the name of the project was Sanskriti, an inheritance to the next generation. In IT language, we call inheritance as one of the quality that can be taken to the next part. A inherited from B, that means B is a child of A and it has all the qualities of A plus some new qualities. So I took that and I ensured that I am bringing this culture to the children around me. We initially started to publish a note and a form requesting for the nomination. Now here the point was, I don't want to influence anyone who are aware of the culture. I wanted to hit the next generation So I kept that all my students will be between the age of 10 to 15. I ensured that these kids, because I always believe that kids of today's are leaders of tomorrow, and we are grooming them in proper direction. We are achieving that our tomorrow is better than what we are today. And hence, we requested for nomination in our society. And then we spanned it to all the groups, WhatsApp groups and social media, and we got a proper response of 15 students. And I was very happy because I could get the target audience. The next part was to have a curriculum. We have planned for 5 weeks of training, wherein each week we will have 1.5 hours of session, and there will be 2 major items to be covered as part of this training. One, they will know our culture, they will understand what our roots are, and they will have some hints of daily routines that we have to do. And 2, every student should be able to speak based upon the target audience for at least 3 to 5 minutes. So I ensured that they are building their capabilities as a public speaker. And hence I told them how to act and work as a Toastmaster, and I taught them how to write their icebreaker speeches. And in this process, I ensured that they're also prepared for the table topics. Small topics like I understood when I was asking kids, please tell me what is your favorite chocolate, they were not able to come up with a proper note. But I ensured that by end of 5th week, they are properly seeing the audience and able to tell what is their favorite chocolate and why is it favorite and how they wanted to ensure that their hobby or their favorite things are continued throughout in their life. And for this project, I had guiding committee, Toastmaster Smita, mentor, distinguished Toastmaster Raghu, and also I had a partner to ensure that I was able to successfully impart the knowledge, because I was working with kids and I cannot do it. They might feel bored for 1.5 hours. So I had Toastmaster Niyamat. She's an excellent, enthusiastic Toastmaster who always likes to come up with a lot of ideas, and together we used to ensure that kids are enjoying and having fun while they were learning. We completed all our 5 days of training, and I was really happy that at the end of fifth schedule, all the students have come up with a icebreaker speech, and they were fluently talking about themselves, and they were happy about they have given what they are planning to do, what their studies are, who is their favorite hero, who is their favorite person in the family, and how they feel they are influenced. And they talked about everything, every aspect. And they were also fluent in taking up table topics, let it be on sports, let it be on their favorite items, or let it be on any other movie things which I have asked them. They were able to properly give the answer. With this, I felt that I have been able to achieve my target. Let me share the screens presentation wherein I'll be able to show you how we have conducted this and what are the items that we have taken. There is a saying in Sanskrit which is written on the Parliament of India, which says this: Ayam nijah paro veti gananam lagu chetasam udara charitam ta vasadek kutumbikam, which means that a person who thinks that he is the supreme will not be able to influence anyone, but the person who has open-mindedness will always say that entire earth is one family. And hence I took a small step to ensure that some of my family members are understanding the treasure or the build that I had, or the content which I was already understanding, and taking it further. So we had this DTM Smita and team members as the project guide, and team members DTM Raghu and Toastmaster Niyamak. As a project goals, we were to complete the icebreaker speech for all the kids and teach basic prayers and knowledge of Sanatana Dharma, which is the culture and backbone of India. And the project timeline started from April 27 and ended in the month of June. And you can see wonderful faces, all the kids who attended the meeting, and you can see the person who is handing this is Toastmaster Niyamak, who is very happy whenever we are seeing kids. And you can see all the kids were given proper certificate wherein they completed the course. And this is how I am inheriting something to the next generation. And this is an inception. And from here, I just created a small wave effect. And I'm sure that the ripple is going to continue and the waves are going to reach to the next generation. And this will continue so on. I hope that I was able Toastmaster.
Thank you, Kalpana. Thank you for such a wonderful speech. Can we have a big round of applause for speaker? She's going to complete her DTM with this last speech. The Holy Grail is that she's going to achieve maybe within a period of time after she gets all the credits and then she applies for it through the form. And it's time for having some fun. And the fun must start with our wonderful lady Toastmaster Swati, who is in the room, and she will ensure that we all have fun with the table topics. Toastmaster Swati, stage is yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster. Today, we all have table topics at every meeting to practice our impromptu skills. So today, without further ado, let me jump into the questions. And whoever want to nominate yourself for the first question, you can go ahead, or I'll pick up someone from the participants. Thank you, Diana. So you can type your answer in the chat box. I'll read out the question for you. How did you celebrate your last birthday? How did you celebrate your last birthday? I'll move on to the next question. When you really want something, the whole universe conspires in helping you achieve it. Give your opinion about this famous quote. Catherine, do you want to talk about this?
Do you want me to type my answer in the chat?
You can go ahead and talk.
Okay, thank you. Please repeat the question. I missed just the first line.
Yeah, when you really want something, the whole universe conspires in helping you achieve it. What's your opinion about this?
When you really want something, the whole universe will line up with your thoughts. The universe will line up with your feelings. The universe will line up with your mindset. When you really want something, you will engage every positive energy that you have. You will pursue with precision. You will be relentless in pursuit of this thing. When I think about a woman in labor and she has to have the baby, it does not matter how much pain is in her bosom. She will pursue breathlessly to see that baby come out. When you really want something, when you are pursuing your career, when you are pursuing whatever you're dreaming about, be it a relationship, the whole universe will line up with your thoughts, with your positive energy, And I believe very strongly as Toastmasters, when we really want to influence the world, just like Kalpana did, we will pursue with all our strength. Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, Ms. Swathi.
Thank you, Catherine. That was a great answer. Viveka, do you want to go next? Okay. So the question for you is, when was the last time that you lied and what was it about?
Can we repeat the question, please?
When was the last time you lied and what was it about?
Okay. I am a liar. I'm a liar when my husband calls me and says, "Where are you?" And I say, I'm outside. Or I'm a liar if my friend calls me up and I don't pick up the call, and the message is, "Why are you not picking up my call?" And I say, "I'm busy," when I'm actually not busy, or watching something or reading something. I'm a liar when I don't want to go to gym and I lie to myself that I'm ill today. So these are the kind of lies I like to lie about. So in that context, I'm a liar, and I do not remember the last time I lied, because each day I must be lying about something to somebody. Mood driven. Lies are always mood driven. I don't want to do this, just give an excuse. But I do not want to lie about important things. If it is an important matter, I do not like to lie. And it pisses me off when people lie to me about important things. My friends who know me, they do not like the fact that I do not pick up the call sometime. I do not message. And they are aware by this time that I am moody and I will take a call or I will not take a message. So what they do is they give me a message, "Please pick it up," or "Please call me back because it's really important." So they have got an idea about it. And for others, yes, they don't have. This is a thing I am trying to work upon. Other than that, I do not like lying. I do not like lying for the fact that if a person is discussing something with me which is really important, I do not like to spread it. I do not like to lie about it. I do not like to whisper, or I do not like to create gossip around it. So my criteria of lying and truth being truthful is very clear. I am very comfortable lying about certain things, and I'm really not comfortable lying about the other things. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Viveka. That's indeed true and interesting to hear about your principles about lying and not lying. Do someone want to nominate yourself for the next question? Anne-Marie, do you want to take the next? Oh, sorry, Bharat, yeah, Toastmaster Bharat. Here is your question. What does success mean to you?
I am a DTM. Is that success? Fellow Toastmasters, in the recent journey of becoming a Toastmaster, was the title important or was the journey important? For me, every single speech, every single role I took brought happiness to me. Not only to me, I was able to spread this happiness all around me. When I was a child, grew up in a family with challenges. My father and my brother both have learning disabilities. And we had an extreme set of parents, guardians with big views. I, being the youngest, had no say. I was told, okay, you become the secretary of this NGO, and my job was to keep people together. In that process, I used to hear so many counselors, so many psychiatrists coming and giving lectures for our children. And that is there when I picked up this. Life has so many challenges. We, the normal people, feel that we have bigger challenges. Imagine someone who cannot take the food to his mouth. We have very less challenges. With this, and with this thought, to me, the success of bringing all those people together was not a big success. For me, to getting the DTM title was not a big success. The bigger success was each and every minute which I was able to enjoy the whole journey of helping people, of being helped by people, and bringing back to the society. Success, my friends, would always be in the happiness of each moment. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster. Who wants to nominate for the next question? Thank you, Jim. Here is your question. Can you share a moment from your life where you had the chance to break rules, but you did not? You remain determined and steadfast to your moral principles.
A time when I had a chance to break rules, but I did not.
Yes.
Okay. I would have to say that it was in school many years ago as a student. I was very interested in drawing. My brother was very good at drawing, and I really looked up to him in every way, especially that way. And I did a drawing for Fire Prevention Week one year. I mean, I was about 10 years old. And I was faced with the chance to actually I'm having a hard time thinking of it. I really can't think of a good example of wanting to break a certain rule in order to advantage myself. I really don't have a good example. The one that the incident that I thought of really doesn't fit. So that's why I've decided not to go farther with it. But thank you for the question.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jim, for your answer. Back to you, to the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Swati, then ensuring to be on time. And we had some lecturing in the form of Toastmaster of the day, and then also on the guest speech. So now we had fun in table topics. Now it's time to move towards our next section, the food for our thought process, which is evaluations. But before that, I'll ensure that I read the table topic, which is given by Diana. She says that leadership stayed fast after last person this club meeting stayed fast with my disability person annual. But I thinking fact that government stayed fast, the group meeting stayed fast. Thank you very much for attempting table topics every time. Disabilities don't disown you. It is your ability to even beat the disabilities and do whatever you can and you want to achieve. And that's what Diana stands for. All the best, Diana. It's always pleasure having you in our meetings. Let's start the evaluations and let me bring this wonderful lady, DTM Susan, to evaluate Kalpana, soon to be DTM. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, and especially Kalpana. What a privilege it is to be evaluating you for your second DTM project. That means you are this close. Fill in those paperwork and you will have the distinction of joining the club of distinguished Toastmasters. So let's give her a great big round of applause. You had to remain steadfast to many, many different tasks throughout the last number of months or years to do that. But I wanted to congratulate you on one, the project that you chose, very altruistic, to pass forward knowledge to the next generation. How wonderful that Toastmasters gave you the opportunity to do that and then earn the distinction of completion of this task. They was perfectly set up for that. I want to commend you on your word choices and the clarity with which you spoke. I heard and understood every word you said. So congratulations. That's a challenge when we are multicultural. So I had my listening ears on, but you were clear. And your word choices brought across your message brilliantly. You also had extraordinary vocal variety. One of the things that you did was when you had your enthusiasm going, you brought up your volume and gave us that excitement. And that's also a masterful way to keep your audience engaged. Whenever you see someone's going to drift or get a little quiet, get a little more excited and they've been pulled right back in. So that's a wonderful technique. I thought your eye contact was good. You were looking at us, so we felt the connection to you. I thought that you gave us the story very chronologically, setting it up, what you did. You explained it well, the criteria of the age of the children and what it is you wanted to bring to them. I thought it was wonderful to hear that they were able to get the inheritance of the culture. That is crisp in your message. Now, couple of things to suggest to you for enhancement on your next speech is in the screen as you see it, you were rather from head up only. So although you were using gestures, I wasn't able to see them. I saw the arms were moving a little, but I could not have the visibility of it. So step back just a little bit so you can enhance that gesture that you're already doing, but I couldn't see. If I were in the room with you, that'd be different. Secondly, on a couple of your slides, specifically one that had words, the font size was a tad small to see. This is the time for big and bold. I didn't have you in gallery. I had you on speaker screen, but you still need to have those just a little bit bigger for your audience. And when you had pictures, you had two pictures side by side, collages, make it one picture and then another page. Allow us to ingest the pictures and be able to see them. Too much clutter gets hard to have the visible for it. I wanted to thank you for your vocal variety, your enthusiasm, your project, your clarity of your words, and keeping your audience engaged. This was a fabulous project. I'm so glad to hear about it, and I'm so honored to be the one to give you your evaluation. I will send you a written evaluation with additional comments because I'm way over time. After all, I'm a DTM. I can't get that 2 to 3 minutes, except in a contest. I will make sure 2 to 3 minutes in a contest, but in a regular meeting, when it's more important for you to get the message than that clock. Sorry, Piyush. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster of the day.
There you see, don't time me. Okay, great job. Thank you, Susan, for such a wonderful evaluation. It's always pleasure to hear. Rather, it's music to ears to hear your evaluations. Let me invite our role players today to see how we are done in the meeting. Let me call our grammarian Toastmaster Jim to talk about the language usage.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. And I have to start by stating that I meant to give the word of the day during my my introduction as the grammarian, and I forgot to do that. I put it in the chat. So that's the first thing. The word of the day was steadfast. And in terms of what I heard from speakers tonight, there were a couple of people who used filler words. Piyush, for example, used several filler words when he first spoke about his role as the timer for tonight. There was one filler word that I heard from Viveka, and grammatically, when she spoke about the idea of lying, I heard her say, "I'm trying to work upon it." I believe she meant to say trying to work on something. That was the only grammatical thing that jumped out at me. People did a very good job otherwise in terms of filler words and grammar. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Jim. Toastmaster Viveka, can you help us to know how we are doing on the R counter report?
Some of the R counters have been given by Jim. Thank you, Jim, for the same. And thank you for pointing out my grammar. It was very much needed. This was my first attempt at this impromptu speech, and I've been shying away from it. So I just plunged into it, but thank you. I'm really thankful to you for it. So as a R counter, it was my duty to note down words, pauses, sounds, which are called crutch words, which we use as fillers, like words like, but, and. Apparently, there were hardly any fillers or sounds like, So, but during Jim's speech, I mean, his impromptu thing, he attempted it pretty well, and he repeated I many times. But what I would like to mention one thing, I hope I have time. I really like the way Jim uses his pauses. What he does is, and that's a trick that I'm trying to learn from him because I'm really bad at it. He uses pauses very effectively, and he tries to hide them with his expressions. So that's a very good thing. He's a slow speaker. Apart from Jim, Kalpana during her speech muffled a bit, so I can't really mention it. Raghu is a slow speaker. Talking about me, I used filler words actually. I used it twice during my thing. So I need to learn how we can work up on not using filler words is by slowing down a speech. So during a prepared speech, it's more easier to slow down on the speech because it's a prepared speech. But what happens during impromptu? Fast speakers like me struggle while speaking slow. So the idea is to enunciate each syllable of every word, breathe before speaking, take a pause before before speaking, practice tongue twisters. And yeah, that's it. Sorry, I jotted down a piece of paper and got lost on it. Yeah, that's it. Back to you, Raghu. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Viveka. What I liked in your report was not just the report of our counter, it's also about how we can avoid giving these counters to our counter usually in the meetings. Now,
Yes, it
Toastmaster
was not
Piyush.
structured well, Raghu. I'm working on it. I should learn to structure it. It was not very well structured. I'm really, excuse me for that, but I will work on it.
You will, I'm sure about it. End of day, each report is a speech, and we must master it. Everything that we do. Toastmaster Piyush, how we are doing on time? Just looking at the time, I know that we are delayed by 10 minutes.
Thank you, Toastmaster Raghu. Such an inspiring session so far. I learn something new every time. That's why I'm so steadfast to the Toastmaster sessions. Let's get to the timing part. Raghu, you spend 8 minutes in your speech, and we took 6 minutes for Q&A. Kalpana took 9 minutes and 8 seconds. Susan evaluation was around 4 minutes, 20 seconds. The table topics, Catherine used 1 minute exactly dot. Viveka used 2 minutes and 16 seconds. Bharat, 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Jim, 2 minutes and 6 seconds. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you very much. With that note, one thing I would say, keep learning, keep growing. Continuous learning is what is going to achieve us some results. But as Karma Siddhanta from East philosophy says, do not think about the fruits of your actions. Just keep your mind on what you're doing. Once you pay attention to these things that you're doing, you will learn a lot in the process, and you also achieve what you call holy grail, or maybe don't time me or talking machine, whatever it is, the DTM in the process. It's all about learning and implementing these learnings into what you do in your life. And then you transform yourself, then you call yourself a DTM. I've known so many DTMs who do nothing, who can't even talk properly. But at the same time, I've known Toastmasters who are not DTMs, but they are doing a wonderful thing. So that is what you want to be, not the other way. But same time, achieving goals is something that you need to keep ticking off and keep growing. And that's what keeps motivating me. And I'm sure it will motivate you. I wish you all the best on your journey of becoming a Toastmaster, or maybe don't time me, or maybe distinguished talking machine. All up to you how you want your journey to be. With that note, I adjourn the meeting officially and stop the recording at this point of time.